family? Welcome back to the Live4U channel. It is your favorite uncle, your favorite brother, your favorite cousin, Dr. Larry. How are y'all doing today? As I always say, you're looking good. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back. Welcome back. I hope you are ready to eat some of this good food we got here, because what we got today is good. It's been prepared, it's fresh, it's hot, and you are going to thoroughly enjoy what we've got prepared for you today. So come on in. Y'all already know that I don't ask for too much from you guys, but I will ask you guys to go ahead and hit the subscribe to this channel. Go ahead and hit the notification bell so you know when I post things, which is twice a week. Go ahead and comment if you would like. Ask all the questions you would like. I do read the comment section, so go ahead and comment and like the video. All of that is very important to me. If you subscribe, you hit the notification bell, you like the video, and you comment, because you're engaging with me as I am here to engage with you. So welcome to the channel once again. And of course, you know, the same old, like us on all the social media that we have. That's Dr. Larry PhD on Instagram and on Facebook, and any other place you can find us. We're here for you. Welcome to Live4U. Today is very, very interesting because I know that y'all went and y'all did y'all homework that I gave y'all in the last video, and that homework was to go and just do research. Go and follow on social media. Go and read up on the website, which is www.live4ucaoching.com. Find out more about me, get to know my story, and then come back. That's it. Wasn't a lot of homework, simple. Could have been done in a lot less than 30 minutes. So hopefully, I know that all y'all went and did y'all homework. So welcome back. So if you did do your homework, you are knowledgeable about me. You are knowledgeable about the work that I do as a life coach and a spiritual coach for those who are more spiritually inclined. I work specifically, as you guys already know, with the African American community, specifically African American males from the ages of 18 to 40 who have gone through some type of trauma, and that trauma is impacting them or having some sort of residue on them emotionally, and it is showing up in their lives. And so my job as a coach is to move them into the present and to get them to focus on the beauty of the now, the present, the moment that we live every day, every moment, every minute. Focus on that and love it and enjoy it, because that's what life's about. Life's about enjoying it. And so that's what we do. So now I know that you know who I am. And people ask, well, why specifically African American males between the ages of 18 and 40 who have dealt with trauma or who are dealing with trauma? I would think it's kind of obvious. That's me. That's my story. That's my life. That's who I am. And that is why I have a lot of knowledge, a lot of information, and a lot of wisdom as it relates to that experience, because that is my own personal experience. So why not work with the group that is most like you? Now, let's face it. In reality, everybody with a capital E experience some type of trauma in their lives, no matter who you are. And so I see some of y'all were walking away when I said I focus my work, my business focuses on, or at least my coaching focuses on the African American males 18 to 40. However, we all experience trauma. So even if you're not black, even if you're not a male, even if you're not the ages between 18 and 40, you still have gone through some trauma. And so the work that we're doing here, the stuff that we're having happening here, the conversations that we're having, the things that we're seeing, and the comments and conversation and dialogue that we're sharing here can help anybody. So you can just sit right back at the table. Come on. Not even if you don't look like me or look like the people, my clients, come on, sit down at the table. I can work with you. We can work with each other. See, we're here to learn from each other, because as I always say, we are all on the same journey. It just manifests itself differently. So go ahead, sit down, enjoy this food. You're going to enjoy it too. Don't everybody like to eat when the food is good? Don't matter what you look like, if the food is good, you're going to want to eat. So sit down and let's eat. And I know that this food is good. So therefore, you're going to enjoy it. So you know that I deal with trauma, the experience of trauma. So I think it is super important that those of you who follow me, the subscribers, those who follow me on the social media and wherever else you go, the clients I work with and those potential people who want to work with me as a client. Because I know there's some of you out there who are just anxious to go ahead and book me. And guess what? Book me. It is what it is. Let's work. Let's work together. I'm here to serve you. But I know you wonder when I say trauma specifically what I mean. So let's find out what trauma means. Okay, Google, give me the definition of trauma according to Webster's dictionary.
On the website webster-dictionary.org, they say, trauma any physical damage to the body caused by violence or accident or fracture, etc. Synonyms: harm, hurt, injury. 2. Trauma an emotional wound or shock, often having long-lasting effects.
Thank you, Google.
No problem.
So that's trauma according to Webster's dictionary. And Webster's have a very, you guys have seen Webster's dictionary entries. You've used Webster's. That's Webster's dictionary trauma. Like I said before in the previous video, I'm an academic, so of course I go deeper. And the American Psychiatric Association, which is called the APA, which is what all psychotherapists, psychologists, psychiatrists use. This is their model that they go by. They have a similar but slightly different definition of trauma. So, okay, Google, give me the definition of trauma from the American Psychiatric Association, please.
Here's a summary from the website appa.org. Trauma is an emotional response to a terrible event like an accident, rape, or natural disaster. Adapted from the APA Help Center article, Recovering Emotionally from Disaster.
Thank you, Google.
You're welcome.
You guys, Google is lovely. It's Google Assistant. You should get it. I should get an endorsement from Google. But anyway, I love my Google Assistant. I use it for everything. Anyway, those are the definitions that the Webster's Dictionary and the APA or .com.org or the American Psychiatric Association's website give for trauma. And it's very similar to my definition of trauma and probably the definitions that many of you were having out there before we heard Google give it to us. My definition of trauma specifically is trauma is a disruption of your present being that forces you to either look in the past, believing that it is who you are, believing that who it is that you're experiencing, reliving the trauma that you went through day in and day out, because you're stuck in the past. Or it's you wanting to go to the future to escape the drama, to get away, to change who you are, to change this experience, and you're constantly living in the past. So if you notice, both of those experiences are not living in the present reality, in the present truth. You're not fully manifesting who you are. You're constantly focused on the past and living in that experience, which does not feel good. And you're constantly anxious, worried about the future, which does not feel good as well. It's all uncomfortable. So experiencing trauma in any kind of way on that level, which we call an emotional level, it's something that is not going to feel good either way. And so what happens is this trauma does show up on the emotional level many times. Sometimes it goes unnoticed. Sometimes it is visible and it goes outwardly in our lives and we manifest it, or we internally implode and we go through all kinds of stuff inside or put people through stuff outside because of this trauma experience that we have had, that we've not dealt with, that we've suppressed, that we allow to run our lives and pull us out of our present selves. And so because of that, I call that specific experience the traumatized mind, the traumatized mind. I have all kinds of stuff that I'm going to supply you with over time. You'll see potentially a book being completed. I'm working on it. A book being completed that talks about the traumatized mind and how to free yourself from that. I will also do a video that is completely about the discussion of the traumatized mind. And guess what? You've already got stuff out there. If you go to Spotify or anywhere, you can go listen to the Live4U podcast, which there's a link in the description down there. You would actually find an entire episode of the podcast that is talking about the traumatized mind. So there's plenty of information for you to get out to understand what I mean when I'm talking about living in a traumatized mind. And the simple, in the simplest way, it's just basically not really living present, not really living now, not really experiencing life for what it feels like in the immediacy of the present. And there's writers who write about that. I have a different spin on it, but nevertheless, you can always find information about living in the present. Now, the interesting part of this conversation should be, how does it show up in our lives? Like I said, it's usually pretty emotional. And so therefore, it's an emotional reaction. It could be sadness, it can be anger, it could be frustration, it can be fatigue, it can be excitement. It can be all kinds of things, but it shows up in many kinds of ways that you see. And people generally don't deal with it in a healthy way, because here's the thing: trauma and the experience of it is an energy, and energy doesn't die. Energy manifests in other ways, and if it's an energy that you allow to manifest negatively, it's going to show up in a negative way. And so, for example, you might use that energy to indulge in things like drugs, or you might use that energy to indulge in things like hypersex, or indulge in hypermasculinity, or indulge in drinking or violent behavior. But it shows up. And as far as it relates to African American males, we see a lot of it showing up in many, many forms. Prisons are highly populated with African American men. Not necessarily because they're criminals. That is the conversation that people have, but it's so much deeper than that. You also see it show up in domestic violence in relationships. You see it show up in the ability not to keep relationships. You see it shows up in ways in which people are not able to fully accept and embrace their identity. They're shifting from identity to identity, or they're trying to find themselves in order to understand who they are, because there's a trauma there that is affecting them. And many times it gets so subconscious, it's out of our control. Now, all of those things I mentioned, you kind of see it from yourself. But imagine living with somebody who has a traumatized mind, a family member, a parent, a significant other. It is also difficult on the people who experience those of traumatized mind, victims of crime, and all kinds of other things. And so because of that, the work that we're doing here, the work that I do, the work that we do at Live4U Coaching is very important, because it helps us to really make the world a better place. And so this is why I say, even though my focus, my niche, or my niche, however you want to say that, is African American males between the ages of 18 and 40 who have emotional residue from a trauma, they have traumatized mind. Me helping this group helps everybody. And whomever else want help. If you're not in that group and you know that traumatized mind impacts you, hey, www.live4ucoaching.com. You can also call us. You can also send emails at drlarry at Live4U Coaching. We can help you too. So everybody can get help from traumatized mind, even though my niche is so specific. And so it manifests in the world. And the problem is when you are a person who haven't really dealt with it, and you're a person of power, or you're a person in a position to do things like, say, the President of the United States, not saying anything, but use your imagination. If you're a person who are in a very important position, your influence, if you haven't dealt with your traumatized mind, it's going to manifest itself and impact a lot more people than just your sphere of influence in your lives. So these things are very simple. It's not a complicated, some heavy mind, dense psychotherapy conversation. Shout out to my therapist, because you guys work hard and you guys do very valuable work to society. And I encourage therapy and getting things out. But for me, it's very simple. It's a simple way of moving you back into the present tense and not in the past tense or in future tense. It's not who you were. It's not who you will be. It's who you are. Because every day, the more you are who you are, eventually you will get to who you will be. And who you were no longer exists. And even when you get to who you will be, that moment will be a present moment. So you got to learn how to live in the present tense. It's just is what it is. And like I said, there are many works and many things out there that can help with that. I will introduce some of them on this channel. I will go over books that I'm reading. I will do it with you. We will have our own little book club. We will be reading a book for the month, and we will spend one of our videos about talking about our reading and discussing it and getting to know it. Very easy. Very light, in a very way of where it's entertaining, it's informative, and we're able to not just learn it from a head point, but also able to pull it in and begin to manifest and use this stuff in our lives. So the point of all of this is for us to be able to bring things into our lives and live the lives that we want to live. Does that sound good? Does it sound good to say you have every right to live the life that you want? You do. Don't let anybody tell you that you have to live a horrible life. You have the right to live the life that you want and a life that you enjoy. That is your right, and you can do it. You can do it. This is all about getting beyond our trauma. And so, like I said, trauma is a very near and dear thing to me. It's a very near and dear thing to my community. It's a very near and dear thing to my country and to the world. And my clients, African American males, between the ages of 18 and 40 who have dealt with trauma, it's time, right? It's time for us to be able to turn the cycle of what traumatized mind has been giving us and live fully present lives, healthy lives, happy lives, have healthy relationships. So just as a recap, so that we know where we've been and what we've done and we're not going to be lost. For me, my definition of a traumatized mind is a disruption in your present being, a disruption in you in the now, that forces you to look or even live either in the past, reliving the trauma constantly in your mind, when you get in relationships, experiencing that trauma over and over and over again. It seems like your relationships never work because you're bringing the same person from that past, that same traumatic mind into it. So reliving, past-minded. But also anxious, antsy, wanting to change your environment. I know people who move from place to place to place trying to find peace. But really, moving and trying so hard to do things in the future doesn't bring you peace. Peace comes when you are fully able to just experience the present. You ever know what it's like to bite an apple and truly taste the sweetness? And truly see the bright color of it, whether it's a green apple or a red apple, and truly feel it and can touch it and can really enjoy the moment on a nice cool day with the wind blowing as you sit with your feet maybe in the water on the dock. Very descriptive, but you can imagine what that would feel like. That would just be simple and just be an easy, healthy, magnificent life. And I'm here to tell you, you don't have to be on the dock eating an apple that is very sweet to have that kind of moment. You can have that moment throughout your life. That can be your life experience. But in order to get there, we have to do the work. And you guys know, the work is us moving back into the present and living from a present reality. So, like I said, that's trauma. I didn't want to burden you guys too much with the discussion on trauma in a heavy way. I wanted this channel to remain light as much as I can. Of course, we're dealing with sensitive issues, and of course, we're dealing with things that are very real, and we're going to deal with them in a real way. But I want you guys to walk away at the end of this with something positive, and so that you feel good, that you come back for this refreshing conversation that we're having here at this table, family. That is what we do here. And so, like I said, you know what I do. Now you know why I do what I do, at least as far as the specifics on what trauma is. And when I talk about traumatized mind and when a traumatic mind, and when I talk about dealing with trauma, that's what I'm talking about. So we're working, we're pulling that. And everybody's trauma is different, and everybody's impression and how they respond to it is differently. And so, but there's some commonalities, and we'll deal with those as we go. But our goal is just to deal with those. So that's it. I wanted to talk about trauma because, like I said, most of you guys had questions about what it is, what I mean specifically when I say that. The list can be endless. You heard Webster's from Google. You heard the APA, American Psychiatric Association, from Google. You heard my specific definition. You've seen it. So that's what we deal with. That's why we're here. We're family. We're loved ones. You're loved ones. I'm your favorite uncle. I'm your favorite cousin. I'm your favorite brother. I am your best friend's best friend. We're here. I got you. We got each other. And so because we got each other, we come back here every week, 2 times a week. This is what we do. You look in the description up in my header, and I say you have an intimate discussion, intimate life coaching with Dr. Larry Smith, Master Life Coach, certified Master Life Coach. You can sit here with me and we talk and we have a good old time just having a simple conversation for a short while. And so remember, like I said before, as I always say, I don't ask you for much. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, drop us some comments, like the videos, go to all the social media. Instagram and Facebook is Dr. Larry Smith, PhD. So go and follow me. And email me if you want to at drlarrysmith@live4ucoaching.com. Go to the website. And if you want to book me, there's mechanisms to do that on the website. You can also call and you will get a voicemail. Leave me a message. I'll call you back and we will communicate. There's many ways. If you want coaching, we can coach via online. If you are in the Long Beach, LA area, close enough, we can coach in person. And we got Skype and we got all this other stuff. So I look forward to a lot of stuff. I look forward to getting to know a lot of you. You're my family. We're going to enrich this family. We're going to enrich each other. We're going to share this stuff all over. We're here. I got you. I love you. And until next time, keep a healthy mind. Keep a healthy spirit. Do what's best for you. Live for you.